Hello, and many thanks for looking back at the channel. And slightly different video this week to the one I had planned. I've just been very much short of time, so no progress with the spray booth. Now, I am trying to do this handheld, so I'm sorry if it's moving a bit. My hand might not be that steady, but take a look at the Princess Royal. This is the one that got most people interested in seeing it restored, and I'm really happy with the way the body is cleaned up. I managed to remove all the white haze and the damaged black paintwork by using brake fluid, and it's come up beautifully. It really does look good. So it's going to be time now to decide what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to varnish it, try and put some embellishments on it and varnish it, or whether it's a full repaint. I don't know. I think possibly if I painted the black bits back again, some of the yellow lining has remained, make some decent transfers or decals, it might look good just varnished after it's had the black painted on. I don't know. We'll see how we go. But I'm pleased to have made a bit of progress. So that's ongoing. Now, don't worry if you can hear a bit of ticking in this room. I do have quite a large regulator type clock and it's a bit noisy. So what are we going to look at this week? Well, when I was looking for some other items a little while ago, I came across a couple of boxes of interesting older Hornby stuff. Now, I've got this book of trains, and forgive any noises you might hear. There's people coming in and out of the room next to me all the time. So I thought we'd have a bit of fun inside with some Hornby O Gauge. Now, I've never had a play with this stuff before. It's as I've found it in the stores. So I thought we'd take a look through. Now, this is a set. Now, I don't think I'm going to do anything with this, because I think when I resume the train sets after Christmas, it's really difficult to get this lid off. We might put this as one of the train sets, but there's some good items in here. Look, an L&ER loco, a nice possibly teak coach, and a couple of wagons. And look at that signal, that's pretty good. And some tracks. So let's have a look and see what it says on the box. Hornby train set number 201, tank good sets, gauge O. So I think I'm going to put that to one side, and we'll come back to it at a later date, because let's just have a look through some of these items. Well, look, I've got quite a bit of the old tin plate track, different pieces of curves and straights, and even the odd point or two. So you can see the solders given away on that point there. Every set of points I've found has got this particular problem, so there's going to be a bit of repairing required. But I think I'll be able to put a little bit of a circle up in this sitting room, or an oval. And look at these keys. What a nice selection of keys, all with Meccano Hornby written on them. Let me see if I can perhaps show you that. Meccano H. And it's got this guide for the rails, which is great, like a back-to-back gauge. So let's just have a look. You just get the key and double check that your rails are more or less the right distance apart for smooth running. And they've all got that on, actually. So one of these, let's just see if it'll focus. Gauge for rails, Meccano, England. Well, let's take a look in a couple of these boxes. And first of all, who doesn't like a dose of this stuff occasionally? What's it say on here? Prevents that sinking feeling. Well, indeed. So some of these are newer, some are older. Some have got nylon type wheels, some metal, but there's a lovely look, operating doors. I mean, there's detail on these items, but look at that, beautiful. White roof, all the tin plate fun you could want. Let's just gently see what else is in here. LMS, guards van. Look at that lovely marking on the back. I wonder if I can just bring that hook down. Excuse that. Let's have a look. Meccano Limited, Hornby series. Gosh, okay, so we've got some other wagons. Those two seem to be stuck together. I'll sort those out later. And some really nice, some of these are the later type items, but they're still quite nice, aren't they? Look at that, still got the same sort of finish as the Hornby O. And what else have we got in here? That's quite a nice wagon, isn't it? No, I think that's really nicely made. Looks like something should sit on there. Sorry if this is going out of shot. Look at that. LMS Furniture Removal Service. So lovely paper wrapping on that container, but pretty much in quite nice condition. That will certainly fit in one of the wagons. We've got another one of these, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 plank wagons. Job to count them. What else? There. Cables. I think we might be able to make up a pretty impressive freight train. A couple of buffer stops there. And then we've got some other interesting vans. 12 ton. Now, does that door open? Let's have a look. Look in there. Brightness of the tin. Beautiful to see. So that's more like an animal wagon, ventilated, but still opening doors. Lots of play value, good fun. Now look at that. An L&ER type coach. 3rd and 1st. And it's got the same type of lovely tin plate printing that the really nice Hornby O items have got. So lots of nice rolling stock. A couple more. What's this one? Is this an LMS? Yeah, just the one LMS item. Okay. Don't have anything that's really boxed apart from the set. Well, I do. Let's just have a look at the packaging. I've got some points. And I think there is a price on there. I don't know whether the camera is going to focus. It might be. It's difficult with the pencil, but I think it's 10 and 6 a pair. And 1 each, right hand and left hand, 2 foot radius. So a very nice box. I would imagine all these items would look good boxed. So let's get on to some locos. Now over here, that's just more track that's been stored away in boxes. So whether we need to get that out, I don't think so. But this is the interesting box, I think. Let's just see what it had in it originally. Dried California prunes. Well, I would think that a few of those would get you enthusiastic for all sorts of movements. Now, what have we got in here? Different ages of locos. Let's just look at this one. Looks more like a southern livery. Metal wheels on this and quite pretty. Hopefully they're part of the same set. I think they look like they go together. Now what have we got over here? Now these could be slightly later items. Another green coloured loco, whether that's a G.W.R type or I don't know, but it's very smart. Let's have a look. An LMS tank, Hornby, made by Meccano Limited, Liverpool. So there is a later loco here. I did look this one up because I haven't got any paperwork. This is a Type 501, and that's definitely after the war, but it's a lovely item, isn't it? Nice bit of lining on there, handrails, controls are quite nice with those lovely brass knobs on the end of the stems that go into the Clockwork motor. What else have we got? That's a particularly heavy loco, isn't it? Now, sorry, manufactured Meccano Limited, Liverpool, but that looks like it's a powerful item, doesn't it? Feels a bit heavier than the other ones, so I'm sure that might be a very good one for pulling a long freight train. And what else have we got? We've got some metal wheels in this tender. Maybe someone was running some of the rolling stock with an electric set, or just didn't like the metal ones, but they're in good condition. There's some rail joiners in there, so I'm sure that tender goes with this loco. This one with this one. So we've got any more in here? Just one more. Another LMS. And look at those Clockwork motors. Good size spring in there. So I wonder if any of these will be in running condition. Let's just take a look in this box, because there's, I think I've found another key and some, let's just put the key down. 12 connecting plates for Hornby rails. And look, there's some instructions, so that's quite interesting. And this box feels even heavier. Maybe it hasn't been opened. But great items. So let's just take a step back. Track, rolling stock, and locos. So let's see if we can get some Clockwork Hornby O Gauge action. Now, this book is the only book I've got that shows a little bit of history of the O Gauge. I have been trying to sort of piece together some of these train sets and accessories. I think I probably need to do a bit more research, but I do think that the majority of these are probably just after the war. Look at that. That's a beautiful looking item, isn't it, with bogies. We don't appear to have any locos with bogies, but this is interesting. This looks like a southern version of this heavier loco. Very similar, isn't it? And what does that say? Number 1 special small tank engine. Yeah, beautiful items anyway. So I think I need to do a bit of reading, because I mean, some of these locos could be well before the Second World War, but a little bit out of my knowledge sphere. But anyway, I'm going to have some fun with this. Going to get some of this track clipped together and see how they go. Okay, well, I've just had a great bit of fun clipping some track together. I haven't used the proper joiners. I'm going to hope the carpet holds it together. But I did a couple of experiments with this radius, which is like the first radius, and the locomotives seem to not stay on the track. So I've made a couple of loops. Just managed to fit them in on the carpet between the sofa and the fireplace. And I've selected a couple of LMS items to run. So I'm going to get this tender loco underway first. And that's got one coach and what I think might be a cattle truck. So it's away. And then we'll start this really nice tank loco up. And you can see they're not slow, are they? These Clockwork mechanisms are absolutely fantastic. Well, the tender loco has come to a halt, but this lovely tank loco, well, that's whizzing round. slowing down now, isn't it? Is it going to make it all the way towards me? No. Goodness. Right, well, there's the two keys, because the tank loco has the bigger key and the newer loco has the smaller key. So I'm going to wind them up again and we'll have another go. But I might swap them over. So the tender loco is on the inner loop and the tank is on the outer. Okay, so I've swapped the locos over, and I've also put one extra wagon on this freight service, and I'm going to run them separately so we can try and get a look at them a bit better. This is indeed an absolutely splendid loco, lovely clockwork movement. Just the slightest drop of oil, but not too much, because I'll get into trouble if it drips onto the carpet. So I'm just going to release the brake. And look at that. What a sight. Just so much fun to be had from just a clockwork motor. Now it's slowing down now, but it's done really well, hasn't it, on one winding. That lovely clockwork mechanism just might make it to this corner. Wow, that's perfect. Right, I'm just going to make sure the brake is on, and then we'll have a go with this other tender loco again. So I'm just going to release the brake. Now this is going to go quite fast, so hopefully it'll stay on the track. There's no way it stays on those sharper curves. And this later motor doesn't seem to quite have the power reserve of the older loco. Well, there's a southern loco just paused in that siding. So I think I'm going to take the LMS off and we'll see whether it'll come out onto the loop through the points. Okay, well, I've given it a few winds, the southern loco, so I'm just going to the points now and just flip that over, and then you can see it's opened. Let's see what happens here. Need to put these points back. Just in time. It's totally amazing that these locomotives, after many decades of inactivity, are straight back to life. They might be crude, but they were made to last. And the clockwork mechanisms are just absolutely fantastic. I can see that I'm in danger of wasting another hour or so in here, because I have already been issued an ultimatum that there is to be no sign of this by the end of the afternoon. So I've only got one call to make, and then I'll be back here to have quite a bit more fun with these wonderful old Hornby O Gauge items. But let's just quickly look at the Princess Royal. I'm just so pleased with how this body shell is starting to look. It's going to be interesting. So I think a couple of people have said they want to see it definitely in its original livery. So now the body shell has come up so nicely. I think that's what I'll attempt. Well, I do hope I get time to move forward with some of these projects, but the time of year, Christmas and all the family obligations mean there's not quite so much time for railway fun at the moment, but I'm going to do my best to keep trying to produce some interesting short films for you to enjoy over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully some of them will feature work on these loco bodies. But I hope you've enjoyed looking at this quick trip into the past. Hornby O Gauge, something I've never really thought about before, but I can't tell you, this stuff's been in storage such a long time, and just an hour and a half, a couple of hours spent getting it out, clipping some track together, and you can really imagine how much fun was had all those years ago by the young people enjoying these excellent models. Thanks for looking, and I hope you all managed to stay warm through this really cold spell. 9:30 this morning, it was still over -3 outside my house. Check that out, that's my weather station, and I've had my lunch. It's 1:30 and it's still -2, so bitterly cold. So just watch the ice, and until the next video, I'll say goodbye.